Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
The following program is being brought to you on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. For more information about our network and to check out additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit voiceamericaempowerment.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit voiceamerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the following program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.
It's time to get your business in gear. Do you feel that sometimes you're in the right industry, but you're not attracting the right clients? Well, let's figure it out intimately with Tammeron is a 1-hour show presenting you with simple and basic tips to help you create a more intimate, fulfilling business and personal life. Now, here's your host, Tammeron.
Welcome to this fun-filled interactive hour with me, Tammeron. I've created this show to provide you, my listeners, with some of the top experts in the world who can help us all create more fun, passion, and intimacy back into our personal and professional lives. And after being an entrepreneur since I was 26 years old, raising my 2 children, volunteering in my community, and privately educating myself through online courses, books, and self-development seminars, I realized that I have a huge range of knowledge to share with you. And as a motivational business speaker, my passion is to share my intimate stories and allows me to work authentically with other people in their business. And I also realize that I attract people just like me who are a divine mirror of my life, entrepreneurs who are trying to find that healthy balance in their life, people who are visionaries, passionate, and highly sexual in nature. There are ups and downs to having all of this beautiful sexual energy that swirls around us. And we tend to be very creative, and we have a million ideas whipping around in our heads. We love challenges. We want to work with other like-minded people and be successful. But sometimes there are issues that come up. Things like we attract many people who want to work with us or just hang with us. And how do we manage ourselves and our time effectively? How do we represent ourselves in business to show our true brand? How do we work effectively with other entrepreneurs to create affiliates, joint ventures, or even equal partnerships? This seems to be a huge trend right now. So join me as I interview amazing guests, offer live business coaching, and give you an opportunity to hear what coaching is all about in business. And many entrepreneurs believe that their business is different than someone else's. And I agree with this statement. Yet I want everyone to understand that the reason why you are successful or not in your business is because of how you think and feel about yourself. Your business as an entrepreneur is about whom you believe yourself to be. And using this as the core of your business, I can teach and help anyone how to make their business better. So if you'd like to call in or ask questions, the number is always toll free at 1-888-346-9141. You can also email me at tammeron@figureitoutlive.com or hit the email host button here on my homepage on Voice America on the Empowerment Channel. So for now, sit back and enjoy as we all learn how to become more intimate in your business to understand what is really going on and in every aspect of your life. And this includes your personal relationship that will become better too. So what a great way to live. Today, I don't have any guests, it's just myself. So if you do have any questions, I encourage you to call in. Again, that number is 1-888-346-9141. So it's an interesting topic I'm going to share with you guys. A lot of personal stories. Again, this is why I love having these shows where it's just myself, because it really does give me an opportunity to share this knowledge and people reshare some of the audio links. So today, it's about how do we remain open-minded in your business? And the reason why I'm going to talk about this is because there are challenges of people who are entrepreneurs. And we do have certain archetypes that really stand out for us. So I do share this a lot in my workshops, specifically in the workshop called Who Am I? And I'm going to talk a little bit about that throughout the show today. So listen up for that. But one of the challenges is to find out what your true archetype is. So I tend to attract, you will too in your business if you start to pay attention, what other types of archetypes that are similar to ourselves. So because I'm an intellect, I tend to attract people who are also intellectual. So I'm going to share a lot of those characteristics with you guys today. I'm also visionary. So when you combine being a visionary and an intellectual, again, this is when I have great conversations with people. I can guide them because we tend to have so many ideas, wanting to do so many projects. And the thing is, we can't do it alone. So we need to find other people to either partner with us or to help us so we can delegate. So I'm going to be sharing some of that with you guys. Again, I'm going to share some references from the Archetype book by Caroline Myss. She is my guru, one of my all-time favorites. And you can also purchase this book through my online store page if you go to tammeronsplace.com and you just go to the online store. And again, it's called Archetypes by Caroline Myss. So I'm going to be referring to this book a little bit throughout the show today. So first off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a short story with you guys, and it was part of my newsletter that went out this week promoting the radio show. But I'm someone who really writes and I share true stories that are in the moment. And it always seems that as I continue to work on myself and pass down that knowledge of what it is that I've learned, that I can put that information in my newsletter work and website. People connect with it, they understand it, and then they're willing to work with me. So as an entrepreneur, this is how you can connect with your target market, by really expressing more of yourself in your business, because people will want to work with you because they're going to see your strengths, and in that, they're going to see that maybe they might have a weakness, and then they might be able to work with you. So it's very fascinating how it all works. But again, it is based on that law of attraction. So what did I write? I was saying how archetypes are very important to rep yourself in business. And that was actually the title for my short newsletter this week. And I wrote here, when I think back to when I was younger and trying to figure out what career I wanted to pursue, I felt really unsure. And I felt this way because I actually had a few different careers in mind that I had been curious about. And my earliest memories were visions of me being a teacher, a police officer, and an actress. And once I hit high school, I was fascinated with mathematics and science. So I decided to aim for university in genetic engineering. And that dream was shattered when I saw the university fees. So I opted for hotel and restaurant management in college instead. But in my early 20s, I felt bored. So I decided to apply for a private schooling as a private investigation and security school. And I came out at the top of the class, where I pursued my career and soon met my future husband. And a few years later, I was married and my first child was on the way. And we decided that I would be a stay-at-home mother, and my thirst for knowledge remained in my heart. Even as a mother and a wife, I was always compelled to study, take classes, and keep my brain alive. And now, as an entrepreneur, I am drawn to learning more about business, healthy relationships, sexual expression, marketing, and of course, more info about food in the health and wellness spectrum. But as I reflect on the careers that I was drawn to, it made me realize that yes, I have manifested a business that really does carry the same underlying aspects. For example, as a certified coach, I feel that I am in the realm of science by learning and helping others to identify their emotional blocks so that they can release them and move forward with their dreams. And also, using different modalities, I can actually alter our physical reality because I believe it alters our DNA structure. And I am a motivational speaker, and I help clients by sharing my own stories of my challenges and triumphs. And this is a unique way of teaching, because I teach by sharing and not by telling anyone what to do. It feels more organic and genuine rather than controlling my clients. And I was drawn to being a police officer because I felt the need to protect people. In the self-development industry, I feel that support is a beautiful form of protection, a safe place for people to share their stories of challenges as well. And most of all, I love to learn. And it seems as soon as I learn a new concept as a student, then I become the teacher, and a new student, aka a client, appears immediately. So my business has been evolving and continually changing as I grow and develop. And this is what keeps me stimulated and passionate in the industry of truly serving others. And in my heart, I believe that I've been given everything that I desired. And in reading Archetypes by Caroline Myss, I have identified myself as a mystic, a visionary, and an intellectual, as my main archetype to identify my strengths and weaknesses in business. And as an intellectual, I thrive on stimulating conversations with other business owners and clients. It's no wonder that I love to form support groups, and now I'm creating a business mastermind circle. Great communication techniques are important to me. So if you feel that you're also an intellectual and you're wanting to understand more of your own archetypes to empower yourself as an entrepreneur, then I highly suggest my Who Am I workshop. It's now only available one-on-one with me in person or via Skype. And I realized one of my greatest gifts that clients trust me and they prefer private consultations and workshops. So I've chosen to honor a few hours each week to fill that need for my clients. And always remember, I offer a free 15-minute consultation call to see if I can support you in your business. Okay, so this is exactly what I'm talking about, is to connect with your audience, all right? So we are people that are highly intellectual, we've got a lot of things going on, and we can use these different techniques and these different ways to promote ourselves in business. Because why? It keeps people like me stimulated so that we don't get bored. And that way we can always continue and feel like we're really serving others in our business. Okay, so we can do it in different ways. We can do it through radio, which is what I'm doing now. You can do it through newsletters. You can have people follow you on Facebook, which I do as well. I have a personal page that I use, Tammeron. You can link to that on my host page here, and I have a business page. But I use that personal page of mine to really share what's going on in my life. But I share my personal things, and I share, the dynamics that come up in my business as well, because that's what I love to teach people. So that's what makes me authentic. And then I find clients just by sharing who I am. It's very, very dynamic. Okay, so that's really the basis of what I want to do. I'm going to get into that after the first break because we're getting close to our first break. So I don't want to jump in and share too much with you right now. But what I'm going to do is I love to pull cards, and I haven't pulled the tarot card on the show now for about 3 or 4 weeks. So I decided today I was going to do it. These tarot cards are actually from T. Harv Eker. He's Canadian. He's an excellent speaker about understanding money. So again, it's about what's coming up for us emotionally, very similar to what I do. So I pulled 2 cards from his deck, and I'm going to share that with you guys because I know it's going to resonate with people listening. So the first card I pulled is called Work on You. And it says, you are the root of your financial success or failure. If you work on the roots, the fruits will take care of themselves. Again, so we need to understand, where is it you don't believe in yourself? Where is it you don't see your strengths in your business? Where is it you don't see your archetypes? And this is why I love to work with people. So work on yourself and you will begin to blossom, because a lot of times we're really, not believing in ourselves as an entrepreneur, and there's a lot of challenges that are going to come up, and so you need to always remember to tune in to what it is you're thinking about yourself. Oh, I can't do it, I don't have enough people, I don't have money, blah blah blah. All these things are emotional blocks, thinking we don't have what it takes. And the truth is, we all have what it takes. It's just that we're not meant to do it alone. The other card I pulled is called Use Power Thinking. So with positive thinking, we believe that our thoughts are true. And power thinking recognizes that nothing has meaning except for the meaning we give it. And since we're making up a story anyway, we might as well make up one that supports us. Again, so what I was talking about earlier, really be attentive of your thoughts. So if you're thinking you can't, if you hear that word you can't, then, you need to start thinking of ways that you can. You need to change the way your brain is so that those ideas will come to you. And once you get in the habit of doing it, it will happen. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take my first break right now, and when we're going to get back, I'm going to share some information from Caroline Myss and really dive into what it really is to be an intellect, because it's very fascinating what she shares in her book. So I just want to remind you guys, this is Tammeron, and you're listening to Let's Figure It Out Intimately here on the Empowerment Channel. So stay tuned for more after the break.
Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN.
Do you feel that you are in the right industry of serving others, yet you are not attracting as many clients as you would like? Magic happens when anyone brands their true self as the forefront of their business. I am currently looking for entrepreneurs who know they have a calling, yet feel as though something is missing. Yes, sometimes we're in our business every day that we can't see our own gifts and uniqueness, and that is where I come in. My gift as an entrepreneur is that I was struggling with the same issue, so I hired other business coaches to help me see what I couldn't. It was an enduring, difficult self-discovery, but it was well worth it. It catapulted me to capture my talents and use them to help other entrepreneurs. And here's how I can help you in a way that is so unique, authentic, and super fun. I am looking for guests to be live on my radio show who are willing to share what they feel is their biggest problem in their business. And I will help you figure out what is the core issue and catapult your business forward. Contact me, Tammeron, through my host page on Let's Figure It Out Intimately on the Empowerment Channel now.
What does creme de la creme mean? It's the greatness of living, the willingness to be the best. It's living beyond what you know is possible with no limitation. Access Consciousness presents Creme de la Creme, a program that empowers you to choose and create the life you would like to have and entices you into being who you are, not who others would have you be. It's the best of the best. It's the finer things in life. It's brilliant. It's fun. It's exciting. Join us for Creme de la Creme every Tuesday at 12 noon Pacific Time on the Voice America Empowerment Channel.
Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
You've tuned into Let's Figure It Out Intimately with your host, Tammeron. Want to be a guest live on her show? Email Tammeron at figureitoutlive.com. If you'd like to call into today's program, please call us at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. This is Tammeron, and today we're talking about how do we remain open-minded in your business. So one of the things I'm focusing on is these challenges of an intellect, if that is your archetype as an entrepreneur. So I'm going to be sharing a little bit more. I did share before the first break there about, really tapping into some of the things that we really desired, especially when I was young, and how I actually manifested that in my personal and my business life. So sometimes, we feel like we're not getting what we want, but we always are. It's just that we got to take that time to really tune in. Now, during that little reading there, I did mention my Who Am I workshop. Again, if you're really wanting to know your archetypes, I love Caroline Myss, her work. She's one of my gurus. This book she wrote really is for entrepreneurs in the New Age self-development industry. So I talk about it a lot in this workshop, and that's really what I do, is to help people define who they really are. And so some of the things that people are going through are very emotional when they're trying to define it. So if you're someone who you find it difficult to say no to people, or you might tend to put the needs of others, I highly recommend this Who Am I workshop. Or if you believe that you do too much at times and you have a million projects on the go, yeah, you just could be an intellectual as well. So we're going to help you take all that information and really funnel it into some business programs and workshops for you so that you're really serving the clients that you're meant to serve. So it's very fascinating. So if you would like to check that out, again, I only offer this one-on-one now. But to find out if you'd be a good potential client, then I give you a free 15-minute consultation call. So please go to my website, tammeronsplace.com, and go to that consultation page, and you'll see exactly how you can connect with me for that free time. All right, so I honor that. So let's get back to the show, because this stuff about an intellect really is fascinating. And I'm going to read just a little bit from her book, just because it's fascinating to know. And when I read this to people, you should see their mouths drop open. It's just like, oh my God, I thought I was the only one. So this is where we find other people who are just like us. So she says here, in the life journey, what makes the intellect tick can be summarized in one sentence. You have a passion for exploring the power and riches of your mind. And the life journey of this archetype is pursuing knowledge for the sake of discovering truth in all areas of life. And for the innately curious intellectual, living in the internet age is heaven on earth. It gives you access to endless streams of information. Intellectuals thrive in this data-driven world. Your logical home is cyberspace. You can spend hours surfing the web, whether you're doing scientific research, shopping online, posting a blog, or firing off emails. And keeping on top of everything requires networking, and to you, time online is a necessity, not a hobby. The true intellect differentiates between data, information, and knowledge. And data are simply facts and statistics. The raw material of information, a grab bag that includes trivia and nonsense as well as facts. Information is the basis of most of our communication with one another. And knowledge is quite another thing. And no one knows that better than the intellectual. Knowledge is an understanding of the full spectrum of what can be grasped by the human mind. If you're an intellectual, you are motivated by the pursuit of knowledge for its own sake, by a love of learning and a thirst to understand why things are the way they are. And today the world is driven by the acquisition of information for influential or financial gain. But knowledge pursued for its own sake is not practical. There may be no payoff, and such knowledge is pure, enhancing our understanding of fundamental principles like the cycle of nature or the behavior of the planets or the healing properties of certain plants. And acquiring knowledge out of love of truth defines the life journey of the intellectual. And as an intellect, you thrive on good conversation and sharing ideas with other lively minds. Communication is vital to you, and by the measure of an intellectual is not how you articulate you or how many facts you've acquired, but how well you're able to integrate knowledge and experience into an overarching understanding and appreciation of life. And instead of viewing the world as a planet populated, isolated by people and organisms, the intellectual sees an intricate web of interconnection. Whereas more heart-centered archetypes feel a warm, fuzzy, we are one connection to humanity and all of Earth's creatures, the intellectual understands interdependence at a molecular level, mentally and intuitively grasping the scientific structure underlying it all. So the intellect is the source of our ability to reason on all levels, the logical, ethical, and moral. And for members of the thinking family, the intellect is an endless resource, an inner library of information and knowledge that weaves reason and logic with intuitive intelligence. All right, so there you go. I'm going to share a little bit more in a little bit, but I'm going to stop right here. So as you've been listening to my show, if you've been listening to the shows before, or even since the beginning of this is why I love to share my stories, and why I need to understand what's going on and what's the underlying root cause and what blocks are coming up or what are some of the strengths. So what is the beauty in things? So this is how you can use this in your business if you're an entrepreneur, because if you understand that this is what makes you tick, then I guarantee the people that you're going to be able to help in your business as clients, as future clients, are going to be drawn to the same type of things. So when you're working on putting together your workshops, your speaking engagements, your writing, whatever it is that you're doing to really find your clients, then just share the way you love to learn. Because when you can do that, they're going to learn the same way you do, and it's going to become second nature. It's going to feel so natural to you, and people are going to love you for just who you are. And that's exactly what happens to me. I get so many people sending me private messages on Facebook saying they love what I'm writing about, even if it's just a little couple of sentences. I get people phoning. I get people who follow me on my newsletter who literally say they can't wait to wake up on a Tuesday morning to have my newsletter in their email box waiting for them. Because again, I'm just sharing the simple things in life, the things that I'm learning about myself, and so people connect with that. It doesn't have to be full of data, full of all this information, because sometimes that's not what people are looking for. They're just looking for something simple, some tool that they can use and they can take home right away to use it, because they're going to apply it to their own life. So it's very, very important. A lot of times I see coaches and people in business telling people a statement or something to do, but they don't give them the tools. They don't tell them how to do it. So you need to give people that fishing rod, all right? Just telling them here's the pond isn't going to help them. But if you give them the fishing rod so they can take that fishing rod into the pond, they're going to get what they need, okay? So it's really, really important for people to understand this. It took me a long time, too, to really get it when I started taking a lot of marketing courses, understanding how to connect with people. And the truth is, the more real and raw you can be about yourself, the faster you're going to attract people. Okay, so very, very important. And I'm going to share a story after I finish this here. So I just want to share the rest of what she talks about because it's fascinating how she concludes this concept of the life journey. So Caroline Myss says, intuitive and emotional intelligence are two important expressions of intellectual power that are often overlooked in discussions of intelligence, and both rely on refined intuition functioning in harmony with their five senses. And most of us who live in Western countries have followed a traditional educational path in which we acquire a more or less standard body of knowledge. And no such system of education exists for emotional or intuitive intelligence, yet many people, especially women, rely on these highly sensitive capacities as much as, if not more, than on the workings of the rational mind. There's a lot of debate over whether emotional intelligence is an inborn trait or a competence we acquire. But either way, it seems to be a capacity we can develop. And we can become more astute at reading others' emotional signs and more sensitive to their needs. And as for an intuitive intelligence, we all have the basic equipment for it. Everyone has experienced intuition and the ability to know things other than the rational mind, but you may never have thought of it as part of a highly functioning intelligence system. And intuitive intelligence is developed as a result of becoming congruent, or making sure that your words and your actions are consistent with what is in your heart. We're not born congruent human beings. We can earn integrity one life choice at a time. And it takes courage to give your word and then keep your word even to yourself. You have to identify your values and spiritual beliefs and make certain your daily choices are in alignment with them. But it is precisely through these choices that you build self-esteem. Self-esteem, in turn, opens you to intuitive intelligence, and your five senses alone are not skilled enough to spot illusions. So neither is the rational mind, but together they are able to discern the truth. And when you can engage your intuitive resources and trust them, you are able to avoid falling for gossip or malicious lies. And you can't meditate or diet or exercise your way into this refined level of consciousness. You must become a congruent person through consciously deciding to confront what is incongruent about you and then choosing to bring that part of you into an alignment. And that great library we're calling the intellect is stocked with book learning, life experiences, common sense, and intuitive intelligence. And together, they enable us to make clear decisions for many intellectuals. This storehouse of knowledge brings professional success, but as many people with this archetype discover, being creature of the mind only goes so far in satisfying your curiosity about living a meaningful life and not just thinking about one. So pursuing knowledge and exploring the riches of the intellect inevitably bring you to deeper questions like, what are my real values and what should I be doing with the rest of my life? All right. So in order to really help me with what kind of stuff is coming up for me is why I journal. And I've had shows specifically on journaling. I talk about some of the things. I even sell my own journals. by doing that and doing what Caroline Myss is talking about here, when things are coming up, things that just aren't feeling right, where if things feel incongruent, write it down and you'll be amazed at what comes out of you when you write things down. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you guys after the next break what came up for me this past week, because I've had an interesting week and I know a lot of people have. And so just sharing what it was that came up, you guys are going to understand how even something in my personal life triggered something for me that allowed me to let go of a block that I had in my business. Okay, so this is all fascinating stuff. But if you're an intellectual like myself, this stuff is fascinating because everything plays a role. So how we are in our business life is how we show up in our personal life. Okay, so I'm excited to share that with you guys. So I just want to remind you very quickly before the next break, if you're interested in any more of understanding how to, if you are an intellect, or if you'd like to know some of your own specific archetypes, there are 12 she talks about in this book. I suggest you go to my website, tammeronsplace.com, go to the online store page and check out the book, Archetypes by Caroline Myss. So we're going to go for our next break right now and tune in for more. Tune in for more after the break. Thanks.
Have you friended us on Facebook yet? Why not? Just go to facebook.com/Voice America or search for the keywords Voice America. Once you are part of our Facebook network, you'll receive daily messages about what's happening with our shows, this week's featured guests, and new happenings at the Voice America Talk Radio Network. And you can add your voice to the always active discussions on our timeline. Just go to facebook.com/Voice America or search for Voice America.
Do you feel that you are in the right industry of serving others, yet you are not attracting as many clients as you would like? Magic happens when anyone brands their true self as the forefront of their business. I am currently looking for entrepreneurs who know they have a calling, yet feel as though something is missing. Yes, sometimes we're in our business every day that we can't see our own gifts and uniqueness, and that is where I come in. My gift as an entrepreneur is that I was struggling with the same issue, so I hired other business coaches to help me see what I couldn't. It was an enduring, difficult self-discovery, but it was well worth it. It catapulted me to capture my talents and use them to help other entrepreneurs. And here's how I can help you in a way that is so unique, authentic, and super fun. I am looking for guests to be live on my radio show who are willing to share what they feel is their biggest problem in their business. And I will help you figure out what is the core issue and catapult your business forward. Contact me, Tammeron, through my host page on Let's Figure It Out Intimately on the Empowerment Channel now.
You need to live up to your full potential. You've heard that for years, but now there's a channel to help you get there. Introducing the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Our listeners have told us that they want to be motivated, hear about success stories, and positive encouragement around the clock. And we've responded to you. The Voice America Empowerment Channel is the home of the world's top life coaches, entrepreneurs, and success experts. Listen to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. It's here at voiceamericaempowerment.com.
The future of online TV is here. View exclusive content from your favorite talk radio hosts and new programs that you can't see anywhere else. Visit voiceamerica.tv today.
You've tuned into Let's Figure It Out Intimately with your host, Tammeron. Want to be a guest live on her show? Email Tammeron at tammeron@figureitoutlive.com. If you'd like to call into today's program, please call us at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. This is Tammeron. You're listening to Let's Figure It Out Intimately here on the Empowerment Channel. So today we're talking about how to remain open-minded in your business. And by doing so, I want you guys to learn that, learning more about yourself is what I mean by being open-minded, allowing yourself to go deeper, to really become intimate with yourself, because the more you do that, the more you're going to understand who your clients are and who the people really are that you want to work with in this industry. So again, I want to just mention today, I forgot to mention earlier on in the show, so if you are interested in taking my Who Am I workshop, I'm going to offer 10% off if you mention this radio show, and listen up for the end of the show, because I'm going to tell you a keyword. I'll tell you right now, but again, at the end, intellect is the keyword. So if you email me or mention it that you're interested in this, I'll offer 10% off. All right? Just to let you know, so I can find out if you guys if this affected you on the show. So we're talking a lot about the book by Caroline Myss, Archetypes, and really plugging into the intellectual. So what I'm sharing is that intellectuals are people that are stimulated by great conversations. They really want to get to know people. They want to get to know their clients. We're people. So, we're genuinely concerned about what's going on for people in their business. So for me, what I found is really sharing intimate stories. And because I talk about intimacy so much, what a better way for me to share what it is that I do. So basically, I walk the talk. So with that, in her book, she talks about, if you're not congruent, if there's something that's not sitting right in your life, an intellectual person wants to know why. We want to know what's going on or what's no longer serving us. And that's really what's been going on a lot right now, especially the month of April and May. There's been a lot of energy shifts, a lot of eclipses, full moons, just a lot of people having meltdowns, a lot of people walking away from old relationships or old things that were in their relationships and forming a better relationship with the people. So the communication is getting better. There are things like people walking away from jobs, finding something that they're more drawn to, something that they feel where they're more happier in. All kinds of stuff is going on. So it's very, very interesting to see all this, and that's what it means by facing what's not congruent. So for me, one of the latest things that happened this past week is exactly a week ago today on Wednesday. I had a homeless person actually show up in the little town that I live in here. And in the town, it's only about 500 people. So it's basically a crossroad town. And so we're closer to big cities, but it takes about 15, 20 minutes to get to a city that might have 150 to 200,000 people in it. It's more of a country setting here. So to see a homeless person out here, it's rare. In all the years I've been here, the 6 years I've been here, I've never seen a homeless person here. I've only seen them in the big cities like Toronto or some of the bigger areas. So for me, I want to know why. Of course, I want to know why. How did a homeless person wind up in a small town like this, and how did they get here? So the first day he was here, I actually approached him and said, can I help you in any way? And he said, no, we didn't need anything, but we were getting a lot of rain in the forecast, and I was genuinely concerned because there was nowhere for this guy to go. He was sitting out in the open. There's not a lot of buildings. There's only my building and the building across the road, so there isn't a lot of places for shelter. And knowing that he can't get a bus, he can't go anywhere, he's going to have to go on foot. I had a lot of compassion for this man. So I went and gave him a hot meal, and I didn't tell him he could actually stand on my property, but intuitively I knew he most likely was going to enter my property because I had a covered porch, and this is where the benches are, sitting in the front of the building where we have the Intimacy Lounge, offering our workshops and events. So I knew he was going to stay there, which is fine. So he stayed overnight, and the next morning I got up and I chatted with him a little bit more, and I really felt like I couldn't help him. I felt very helpless. And so me, being a coach and, just my genuine nature of always wanting to help people, it brought up a lot of emotional stuff for me. And I didn't realize what it was at first, so I really sat with it a little bit. But I said to him, do you need any food? And he said, nope, he had food, and people did see him on the street, so people were offering him food, and he had a bit of money. He showed me he had money. He had a backpack. He had enough clothes. And so I said to him, well, what is it I can do for you? and he said, nothing really. And I looked down at his feet, and I noticed that his shoes, his old boots that he was wearing, were all tattered and worn and broken open, and he definitely is a guy who's walking. So I looked at his feet and I said, I think I could get you some new shoes. And he said, well, I have money. He says, could you go to the store and buy me some? And I said, no, I can't take you to the store and I don't have time to go, but I can go on Facebook. And I said, there's a lot of people that follow me locally, and I'm sure if I put a post on Facebook, I can get you some shoes. So sure enough, I came upstairs, I put a post on, and within half an hour, 2 of the neighbors had brought down pairs of shoes. We guessed at what his shoe size he was. And first pair they were a little bit big, but the second pair that showed up were the perfect fit. So I was very grateful that happened, but seeing that, other people noticed on Facebook, people that I knew an hour away or half an hour away, were asking if there was anything else he needed. And I said, no, I don't think so at this point, but I think that all he wants to do is move on. But the thing was, they were calling for a lot of rain. They were calling for a lot of thunderstorms for the next 3 days coming up. And so I said to him, look, I don't have a lot of events going on right now. I've only got some small private consultations happening, so there's not going to be a lot of people needing to be here. I said, I don't mind if you're just keeping to yourself and you're staying on your porch. So he was fine with that. And I said, if your word is you're going next, you can walk, then I'm okay with that if you're going to keep on moving. And he wasn't bothering me. He wasn't getting in my way. He wasn't offending anybody. This man was a gentleman. So I sat down and I chatted with him a little bit every day, and I asked him questions like, where were you born? Turns out he says he was born in Toronto. He did have some family. He hadn't seen any of his family or anybody he knew since 1974. That's a long time ago. And I said, did you have a job? And he said, yeah, he lost his job in 1988. So this man has been walking on the streets for 26 years. His hair was down to almost his knees. It was completely matted. It didn't look like he had a haircut in all these years. It was just one big mass of hair. He also had a beard that was very long and matted as well. So he was basically just wearing the worm clothes on his back, and he had a backpack. So I asked him, I said, what is it you need? And he goes, I really don't need anything. I want to get to a beach. He knew the towns, he knew his direction, he knew what day it was, and he had a watch. And I said to him, how do you know what day it is? And he goes, well, I usually ask people that go by. And I said, oh, so he told me the day. And I said to him, okay, so if you understand dates, I said, when were you born? And he said, May the 21st. And I said, oh, so that means you have a birthday coming up. And he said, yeah. And I said, well, what year were you born? He told me. And I said, so does that means you're 66? And he said, yeah, I'm going to have a birthday next week, so I'm going to be 67. So I thought to myself, okay, we'll see what happens with the rain, but that stayed in my mind. So if he remained here, I thought to myself, he probably, who knows, he probably hasn't celebrated a birthday in a long time. So I had no problem allowing him to stay here for a couple of days longer, which would have been a week. So the next day, I got up, and like I said, talking about, wanting to understand what's coming up for us, what is it that's not congruent. I became very emotional the next morning when I woke up on the Friday morning, and I woke up and I was in tears, and I couldn't figure out why I was crying so much. And I went outside to walk my dog, and a good friend of mine was walking by, and I just happened to say, oh my God, come and pull in my parking lot. And he came in, he's an older man as well. And he said to me, what's going on? And I said, I've got this homeless guy sitting on my front porch, and he's been staying here, and I can't do anything for him. I feel helpless that I can't help someone who's homeless. And he said to me, it's not your problem. And I said, I know it's not my problem. But the truth is, in the past, I have always seen homeless people on the street, and I've just been able to walk past them, not give them the time of day, not to know anything about them. And I said, this man's been living on my property, not bothering me, but he's been, what I'm going to say, in my face. So the reality has been in my face, and I was getting emotional. And he said, well, why do you think you're getting emotional? And I said, because it's my biggest fear in life. I said, from the time I was young and being, a mom and having children and being separated and then divorced and then being on my own as an entrepreneur, that has always been a big fear for me, that someday I, like anybody else, could wind up homeless on the street. And he looked at me, my friend, and he said, "You'll never be homeless." He said, like, you're always doing stuff. You're not afraid of working. And I said, I know, but it's still a fear. And he goes, well, I think you're realizing that it won't be you. And I said, yeah, I think you're right. So, as, we're talking about all these energies and everything that's going on the planet right now, pay attention to what's coming up for you, because what came up for me was something very, very powerful, because there was an even deeper meaning. So I even looked at it a little bit more, and I realized that it even had a deeper meaning where I could see this man. I was thinking he's been living off the kindness of people for 26 years in order to survive. So basically, he has been using survival skills to survive. Just simple survivor skills. He only had exactly what he needed to keep on moving. And he understood that. He understood the concept of money and time, and he respected, where he was told he could be and not be. And so it was quite fascinating. And so what that was coming up for me was, have I given my children and have I given my clients the skills that they need to be successful in life? Because I used to say in my old show intros, ABC 1, 2, 3 is not enough to get you through in life anymore. It's not what you know. It's how you can function, how you can communicate with people effectively in order to run a business and to also function and work with your clients. So it was very, very powerful for me to have that this week. So it is that time again for a break. So what I'm going to do is take it right now, and when I get it back, I'm going to share a little bit more with you about this, about really a deeper meaning as well, and what I actually learned about myself and what I've been sharing in my next motivational talk about this man who's been living here for 7 days and moved on today. So stay tuned for Let's Figure It Out Intimately here with me, Tammeron, on the Empowerment Channel.
The future of online TV is here. View exclusive content from your favorite talk radio hosts and new programs that you can't see anywhere else. Visit voiceamerica.tv today.
When you make decisions, do you ever find yourself in doubt? Are you trying to figure out what's right with you? Are you ready to truly change your life? Listen for the Access Consciousness radio show with the founders of Access Consciousness, Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane Here. Consciousness is all about including everything and judging nothing. Our program will help you break free from your personal limitations and enhance positive change in all areas of your life. Tune in to Access Consciousness, Thursdays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on Voice America Empowerment.
Do you feel that you are in the right industry of serving others, yet you are not attracting as many clients as you would like? Magic happens when anyone brands their true self as the forefront of their business. I am currently looking for entrepreneurs who know they have a calling, yet feel as though something is missing. Yes, sometimes we're in our business every day that we can't see our own gifts and uniqueness, and that is where I come in. My gift as an entrepreneur is that I was struggling with the same issue, so I hired other business coaches to help me see what I couldn't. It was an enduring, difficult self-discovery, but it was well worth it. It catapulted me to capture my talents and use them to help other entrepreneurs. And here's how I can help you in a way that is so unique, authentic, and super fun. I am looking for guests to be live on my radio show who are willing to share what they feel is their biggest problem in their business. And I will help you figure out what is the core issue and catapult your business forward. Contact me, Tammeron, through my host page on Let's Figure It Out Intimately on the Empowerment Channel now.
Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN.
You've tuned into Let's Figure It Out Intimately with your host, Tammeron. Want to be a guest live on her show? Email Tammeron at figureitoutlive.com. If you'd like to call into today's program, please call us at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. This is Tammeron. So I just want to remind you guys, if you're thinking of checking out my Who Am I workshop, I'm going to offer 10% off if you mention this show. And the word you need to put in the email or let me know when you speak to me is the word intellectual, all right? Or intellect, either one. So again, I've been talking a lot about my Who Am I workshop today. Recently, I've decided to only offer this as a one-on-one consultation, a private workshop, which is 2 hours long. So please check out my website, tammeronsplace.com. Go to the consultation pages or the workshops, and you will see this on there. It's under the business programs. So I offer business programs and personal programs. So to enhance either your business or personal life, it really depends on what you need. So really, this show is about that. And I just want to remind you, if you want to find out where I'm getting all this amazing information from today, go to my website as well, the online store page under tammeronsplace.com, and check out the book by Caroline Myss called Archetypes. Very fascinating book. She really has written these books for people in the new age self-development industry, and very specifically for entrepreneurs as well, because many of us are working right now and trying to build our own business and to really understand who we're meant to serve. It's one thing if you know that you're in this industry, but to really define yourself even better is really going to help you find your target market, because they really are a mirror of you. That's what I believe. So there's many people out there. It's a huge movement right now, people becoming entrepreneurs. So just remind that. So I want to get back to the little story that I was sharing before the last break about this man who was living on my property here in Bellefontaine. I've got a business here where it's an old building, and there's a porch and like a veranda on the front, and there's some benches out there on the front. So this man was living on my porch for the 7 days. I decided he could stay because it really did rain for more than 3 days. It rained off and on for almost basically the entire week that he was here. So what I decided that I was going to let him stay here until today, actually for 7 days, because today was his 67th birthday. So yesterday, I let him know ahead of time that I was going to be asking him to leave today, so I wasn't shocking him or, upsetting him or whatever. So, I had to speak up my boundaries, which is really important in business, and he was okay with that. So I let him sleep in and made sure he got up and had a coffee and whatever. So I told him at 1 o'clock, I want to make sure he's on the road, because he didn't want a vehicle. He didn't want to be escorted by the police. He didn't want me to find him a ride or anything. So basically I said, you've got to get going by 1 o'clock if you want to be walking, because I want to make sure he's walking in daylight. So I was very honest about it. He didn't give me a hard time. But what I realized was that even in life, this man had survived on the streets for 26 years, and all he needed was the basic things in life in order to survive. He needed a bit of food. He did have money, so he must have been getting a pension, or people maybe even giving him money, I don't know. And he needed shelter. And so basically he was getting that while he was here. He had somewhere to sleep where he could stay warm or at least be out of the rain. And he had food. People brought him food. People saw on Facebook, and he did have clothing. So basically he really only needed what was necessary to keep moving. And the reason why I want to focus on this keep moving is the whole concept of, all he really needed as well to keep moving were those new shoes. And without shoes, he couldn't have moved. So for me, it was just understanding that, it's important for me to keep moving, keep going forward in my own business as well. He took a small break. He chilled out. He relaxed here. He spent some time getting to know people. I got to know him a little bit, so he recouped a little bit and he keep moving. So this is what I want to share with you guys as well, is when things aren't working out the way you planned, or even if you feel like you're doing too much, take a break, take a breather, but know that as long as you keep moving forward, you're going to be successful. It's when you give up completely that it's not good. And sometimes you just need to tweak a little bit of something. Sometimes, if you're an intellect, you've probably got a lot going on and you're just not really completing things. You start something something and then you don't finish it. So hiring a coach or working with me can really help you get there. I really help people get grounded, and I help people, just focus on one concept of their business, but we can break it down into different components. And so when you can do that, you feel like you're never going to be bored. And I do offer a free 15-minute consultation call with anyone. Even with that 15-minute consultation call will determine if I feel I can help you in your business, and if not, I guarantee I know another business coach or somebody in the industry who can help you. Because one of the beauty things of having this radio show is I meet a lot of amazing people. I'm out speaking at events a lot of the times, and so I collect business cards of the people that I think are really movers and shakers, and people who I feel I can also offer clients to them, because they're doing something that's very unique and maybe not necessarily what I can offer someone. So you just never know what you need as the next step in your business. So it's very, very important to know that. So so that's the mirror of what this man represented for me in my business. Again, if you feel stuck, get a coach or find someone who knows somebody. Sometimes it's just a small amount of time you need someone for, just like me. I don't tend to work with people for long periods of time, up to 6 hours maximum, and even some of my workshops are broken up, so that's probably the most amount of time they're going to need, because I'm very straightforward. I'm very focused when I work with people, so I really get you on track quickly. And again, a lot of that is through the private consultation calls or the 2-hour workshops. So again, it's very, very fascinating to see, because as an intellectual, we want to know the why. And that's what Caroline Myss talks a lot about, is, understanding that why. Why are things happening? Why are things coming up? What do we need to learn? Because when we can apply that knowledge, I guarantee someone's going to show up in your life that you're going to pass that knowledge down to as well. And it's going to show up in your business, especially if you are an entrepreneur. All right. So I just love to share my stuff. So again, if you do want to find any more about me, go to my host page. There's lots of places you can check down below where you can connect with me on Facebook, on Twitter. Even if you go to my website, tammeronsplace.com, you can join my newsletter, which comes out every Tuesday. Again, I share my stories on there. And it also tells you where I'm speaking. If you want to see me speak, or if you're interested in having me as speaker at an event, there's always lots of places for you to see what I'm up to next. So I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to spend it with me. I hope you've resonated in some way, or you feel compelled to listen again to the recorded version or share this show with your friends. Always remember that my life is the same as yours, and I am not perfect, but I love to share my stories of challenges, and I genuinely want us all to become successful so we can live happier and more fulfilling lifestyles. And it requires courage, communication, and most of all, some fun. And no matter what we need or we feel we need, I believe it can be accomplished in a comfortable, relaxing, and safe place, just like right here. Remember to come back next week for another great show with me, Tammeron, on Let's Figure It Out Intimately. So cheers for now.
Thank you again for listening to Let's Figure It Out Intimately. Please join Tammeron again next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Let's figure it out intimately. Again.